David. I'm the Artistic Director of Headline Programming here at BroadwayCon. Hope you're having a great first day here. We are here to celebrate Disney Theatrical Productions' 10 Broadway shows and the remarkable actors who have brought them to life. And I'll bet that most of you were introduced to the book musical form first through the animated Disney musicals of the 90s. I know I was. And since Beauty and the Beast in 1994, Disney Theatrical Productions has created 10 Broadway shows and helped restore the once obsolete book musical to popular cultural relevance. Woo! Did you know Disney's 10 Broadway titles have been seen by over 160 million worldwide theatergoers, and that's more than the current number of Netflix subscribers around the world. With 21 professional productions around the world, Disney's Broadway and West End shows have won 20 Tony Awards and 5 Olivier Awards. Disney shows have provided some surprising Broadway musical debuts, including Renee Elise Goldsberry, Sierra Boggess, Cheyenne Jackson, Heather Headley, Mandy Gonzalez, and Christopher Jackson. Disney is the largest employer of equity cast members in the English-speaking world. We are thrilled to have Disney's theatrical chief, Thomas Schumacher, and 6 actors who each memorably created roles in original casts of Disney productions. Please welcome Tom Schumacher.
Like there was some gigantic business plan behind this Disney theatrical thing, and nothing could be further from the truth. There was no big idea other than my pal Robert Jess Roth, who said, "Why isn't Beauty and the Beast on stage?" And he went to the chairman of the company, Michael Eisner, and said, "How about we put this on stage?" And a couple of guys from the theme parks, Bob McTire and Ron Logan, said, "Oh, we could do that." And they assembled an extraordinary creative team, fantastic production team, and a glorious cast, and Beauty and the Beast was born. And that's how it happened. It wasn't some big idea, and then Beauty and the Beast gave birth to every other show we did. And why? It's people. It's people who made the show. It's you. It's the people who come to it. And of course, it's the actors who do it. And that's what we're here to talk about. So I'm going to bring out some really fun, remarkable people that I've been goofing around in the green room for a while. First up, I bring to you the original Belle in Beauty and the Beast, our beloved comes the most extraordinary Merle Dandridge, the original Paula in Tarzan. My secret love child, the original Mary Poppins, Ashley Brown. Where Ashley was not allowed to carry her phone as she flew over the audience. for this very, very, very thing. Next up, the original Black Stash and Peter and the Starcatcher, Christian Borle.
I get that a lot.
Next up, the original genie in Aladdin, James Monroe. And although she should be pretty much close to the end of Act 1, she's here instead, the original Anna from Frozen, Patti, Murin. Everyone got hold of their stuff, so they're not going to throw it at anybody. And they specifically said, don't take your phone.
They did?
Yeah. Marco Polo, that very groovy app. And so now maybe we should Marco Polo each other during this.
Yes,
it'd
we
be,
should.
It'd be great, except I left my phone back. Now there's a curious thing about most of the folks up here. Now I'll start with James, because James played the genie, but he did, 5 years, 3 different productions, each one a completely different rewrite. So therefore, in a sense, you've done more than one part because we rewrote the genie over and over. But technically, only one part.
Only one.
Only one.
Only one.
Susan Eagan, what else did you do for the Walt Disney Company?
And I almost didn't get to, but I got to play Meg in Disney's Hercules.
Where were you in the beauty process when we asked you to do that?
So we had you asked me, I so wish you had asked
I know,
me to do it. No.
There was a process.
There was a process. I was about 4 months into the Broadway run when they were auditioning for this, and they wouldn't let me audition. You weren't there yet. I know.
No,
but
I
it was
wasn't on
different.
the show.
Yes.
But I was on the movie, because
Right.
we wanted you,
Oh, well, you're sweet. So I think they thought that I was Belle, that kind-hearted girl. And but Meg was written to be Barbara Stanwyck in The Lady Eve, and I'm a diehard for all those 30s and 40s and the cadence in which they speak. If you need me, you just whistle. You know how to whistle, don't you? That whole thing. And the script was so well written that it just lent itself to that. And finally, I think to shut me up, they let me audition, and I ended up getting the role
Well, that's not how I
a year
tell
later.
it. We begged her to come to it.
So funny.
But to the
So then the Broadway production went to LA, and it was about halfway through the year run in LA when Eisner was walking down the hall and said, "Hey, good audition for Meg." And so I thought, oh, my tape. It was the 90s. My tape had progressed far enough to get to him, so.
He never heard that. He lied. He had nothing. I love that. Okay, good. Now, Merle, what was your other Disney role?
Aida!
Can you explain the night that we made you fly to New York at the last moment to play Aida without ever having done it on the Broadway set?
Oh my goodness.
You were on tour.
I was on the Aida tour, the first national, and my stage manager called me in the morning and said, I need to put you on a plane right now. And I was like, what are you talking about? We need you to go play Aida in New York tonight. Come and get your costume.
Did you pack it in your suitcase?
I think I carried it on. And I brought it with me to the theater, and it was 6, and I got there, I dropped my bag, went to the theater, 6 o'clock, and I will never forget, well, that was the first time I met Adam.
Where did you meet him?
On the stage making out. Yeah, baby.
Was that the only, my memory is the only thing we made you do ahead of time was do the kissy kissy.
Yeah, I love to practice kissing. So my biggest memory was all of a sudden I'm on the Palace stage and the sets are completely different. And I remember I was like, oh my gosh, look at me. I'm standing opposite Adam Pascal. This is a story of love. And I turn around and a crew member snatches me because with the panels, they move and they lock you out, and I was standing right in the way of one.
You'd never done the show on that set.
Never did it. I didn't even see the panels, and I don't even know who it was. And I remember Ben Cameron was standing in the wings like, you almost got got. I was like, oh, you're cute. What are you doing? He's one of the dancers. The other moment that was so profound was because this was not long after 9/11, and everything was still so raw. And standing there at the end of the first act, I was like, I made it through. And then I sang God's Love Nubia, and there was something in that theater that was so powerful. And it was my favorite thing that my favorite moment in the theater, just to feel that community with everyone. But I was scared. I was a little scared.
Good. Now, Ash, before you were Mary Poppins, what did you do?
Don't be intimidated, but I was the 15th Belle. Basically one of a kind.
mind. But I also did a show called On the Record. Yay! Thank you. And so that was my first big Disney thing before.
Right out of college, right?
Yeah, a week and a half out. Yeah, I didn't know what was going on. But it was such a dream come true.
And you were playing Belle when you got cast.
As Mary, yes. I was playing Belle, and it was April 20th. I will never forget this moment. And after millions of auditions and basically doing everything but flying without wires, I remember Tom coming up to the Lunt-Fontanne Theater and he was like, you know I'm here, right? And I was like, I just was in silence. And he was like, we want you to be our Mary Poppins. And I could not wrap my head around it.
I did say, don't tell anyone.
Well, I mean, I'm so sure.
And I came down the stairs of the Lunt, walked up 46th Street, went up the stairs at Bar Centrale, and someone said, great idea, Ashley Brown.
I mean, I didn't call anybody. I just was excited and screamed.
Yelled it out the window.
Extra, read all about it.
And Christian, you, besides playing Black Stash, because actually, between the La Jolla version of Peter, which was very different than the New York Theater Workshop version, you played
The worst tap dancing Bert in Mary Poppins.
No way.
Oh, yeah.
No way.
So Sam Strasfeld, who is an amazing tap dancer, I agree, sat on the chimney stage right, and when everybody stops and Bert's got to sit down and start this thing, he would double it, they'd turn up his tap mics. But it was the right choice. I have to say, some of the best acting I've ever seen anyone on stage was the ensemble of Mary Poppins as I was doing my tap break, because they would give me this face.
What was your face doing when you were tapping?
I was off-brand, making a big face.
How were you with the hanging upside down and climbing the wall thing? Did you like that? Did you like the climbing the wall and hanging upside down?
No, it was horrifying. I don't like the height part of it. And then throw the tap dancing on top of that. But I at one point had it like, I thought my eyeball was gonna pop for about a week. So I hung upside down, and I really felt like this intense pressure in my head.
It could be happening right now.
But it turns out, I went to see a doctor about it. It turns out that Penn and Teller had the same problem doing a trick hanging upside down. Just a sinus issue.
Aren't you all glad to know that? It's a sinus issue.
And Miss Murin.
How do I follow that story?
Well, because before you were on and by the way, the process, you did every reading, lab, workshop.
We did. I'm the survivor. There's four of us. There's four survivors. We won.
Yeah, you are.
Council.
You've done your Frozen time before we even had a winner. What Disney World did you play before that?
I was the original Sharpay Evans in the first professional stage production of High School Musical.
Now, a little known secret, we do at the office, we call the rooftop players, because our office is on the roof of that new app, and we do readings of all the scripts ourselves first. And in all the pre-professional readings, I actually was the Sharpay.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Are we gonna have a Sharpay off? Oh.
I lost. But then without doing it with us, but doing it on you, because you've played other
Yes,
Disney
I
Prince
played Belle and Beauty and Beast for Atlanta Theater of the Stars, R.I.P. And also I played Ariel in Little Mermaid at the Murin.
It is intriguing to me how, like, that's a good example of these shows being done everywhere and everyone does them and everyone pops in and out of them. But this notion of being in more than one of our shows amuses me endlessly. I just because obviously people don't hate us too much because they come back. Christian's is the weirdest though because you did Laguna. Now get this, he does Laguna, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. You do Laguna, then we put you as Bert, then we cast you in New York Theater Workshop as Black Stash. 2 days after your glowing reviews, the greatest reviews we ever got, we didn't put our name on it, so Ben Brantley actually thought someone else produced it. And glowing reviews, and then you got offered Smash. So,
Love that show.
but then you left, and did Smash. And then we did the off-Broadway run, and then we came to Broadway, and who was on hiatus and got to come back to it? You!
No, but I was still able to. Everyone was very kind. I was able to go off and do Smash, and the amazing Steve Rosen would come in when I was called, and he would do Black Stash when I wasn't there. You made it work. Thank you.
No, you made it work. Stop it. Starting Disney Theatrical clearly was a challenge, and I have this memory of the first preview, because the stories are legendary, of Beauty and the Beast. And there's a debate of how long that first preview went. How long do you think it lasted? In Houston?
Yes, so we were 3 months in Houston. I remember leading up to the preview, just even going through tech, it was 3 12-hour days to get through Be Our Guest one time. Because Disney was doing what Disney does so well, which was creating new ways of doing things, and they had to figure it out. I mean, the Imagineers were making all these pyro effects happen, and I remember Rob Roth was like, we got 4 Vera lights, which is hilarious now, but that was a new technology then, back in the old days. And I think that first preview was like nearly 4 hours. Yeah. Things kept breaking down, and the audiences in Houston were so kind.
Dear Tom Bosley, rest his soul, crashed his...
He did. Tom crashed his invention. May I ask you something about the invention and the logic of the invention? So the invention. So in the movie, of course, there's Philippe the horse that gets Papa to the fair with this wood chopping invention, but we couldn't have Philippe the horse. So we had this
what with the poo
invention. Exactly. The palace. No. Anyway, so we had a different way of getting the invention around, and everybody was so impressed that this invention could chop wood, and I just kept wondering, it's an automobile. He's invented an automobile. There's nobody seeing this. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But yeah, he kept driving it into the set.
I like that. Tom Bosley literally knocked the set apart so badly. Now, I was talking tonight to one of the stage managers, and I said it went 4.5 hours, and she said that's outrageous, it went 4 hours and 22 minutes.
That's a stage manager for you, Kim Bernays.
Yeah, so, but yeah, that is kooky, and which leads me to mishaps, because preview number 4 was Barfarama?
Yeah. So it was still previews of Mary Poppins, and we were still working some things out. And I remember that one morning I woke up and I was like, huh, something's wrong. And I called my stage manager at Mary Poppins because I knew my understudy wasn't ready. I don't even think she had costumes yet. Like, it was like really early, and I was not cute all day, coming up. And so I went to the preview. James Thane, one of our producers, took me to the doctor. They were like, you have a virus or something. And I was like, what am I gonna do? So I show up at the show, I have a ginger ale, some crackers, throw on 7 million layers. I'm like sweating, I'm peaked, green, but I go on, and then during Practically Perfect, you guys have all been there where you're just gonna throw up in any second, let's just say that. And I remember taking a 1 word at a time and being like, this isn't gonna end well. And I mean, Mary Poppins was breaking down. My wig was wet. Oh, honey, my wig was wet. I think I made one of the Michael and James cry. It was bad. And so at my very first, it was bad. Every second counted. And so at the end of Act 1, I fly and I'm like, cheerio, but keep an eye on them for me. And you guys, I turn in my mouth. Y'all, it really was happening. And I remember looking down, being like, where am I gonna do this? Where's this gonna go? Where's this gonna go? And all I kept picturing was Tom's face, like, I'm gonna kill you if you throw up on the kids on the set. And so I get off stage and I find this trash can. I'm like, here we go. And Victor, the crew guy, because I forgot all my umbrellas are kept in a trash can. So literally, I'm gonna have to give you the full visual. First position, hat, sweaty Mary. I'm like, the crew guy pulls me back from the waist. He's like, no, those are your umbrellas. And he pulls me to another, and literally I hurl in first position, very true to character. And in Act 2, and Tom and Cameron McIntosh have ginger ales and are like, so how are you feeling about Act 2? I was like, I might need a hot second. I think I need a wig redo. Let me just get it together. And I did act 2. And I did act 2.
Perhaps you did.
But Tom did say, because I fired the audience at the end, he goes, Ashley, if you puke on my audience, I will never hear the end of this. And I said, well, we know the flying bag doesn't open, so I have nowhere to vom if I've got to go. So he's like, okay, scratch the bag, you're going to do the flight, but here's my purple scarf. And I still have it.
I always carry one in case you bark.
See? That's what friends are for. So that's my classy story.
Now, Patti, do you get nerves before going on?
I mean, yeah.
What's
Every first preview, every show I do first preview, I'm like, why did I do this with my life? This was the worst decision ever. Like, I want to quit. But I know now that that's what happens, and I'm like, okay, just gotta get through it, get through the first one. But every show I've ever done, no matter how big or small the show or the audience, I'm like, this is the worst decision I've ever made.
And on something like Frozen, where we spent all that time in Denver, you did it over and over, and by the time we got to New York, you were still nervous?
Yeah, because it was New York. It was New York. It was different. Denver the audience was like that far away. It was the first row. It was massive, so you sort of felt like you were just doing it for like a general idea of people out there. But like at the St. James, you're literally like, I can like touch you. Like you just put your drink on the stage. You know, like that's there. So you're looking at them, and of course the first preview in New York, everyone's like, all right, let's see what we got here. And you're like, okay, you like me.
And do you get a little nervous now? Or
no.
excited?
I get nervous. I just came back from a vacation in December, and I'd been out of the show because of Christmas. It was a total of 10 days. And I was like, I don't know if I know what I'm doing anymore. Like, did I forget it? And it's like your body knows what you're doing, so you just have to do it, but your brain doesn't catch up until you've finished, and you're like, how did I know that line? It's probably the closest to acting I've ever gotten, because you're like, I'm just in the moment, making up and setting it up as I go along.
Wait, did you say that's the closest to acting you've ever gotten? Because you are a recognized authority on the topic.
I mean, like, real life, you're really like, I just trust it and let it go, like, let it flow or whatever. It's like, that's like, you know, you're just really like, I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth right now, and you're like, oh, I'm really in this character, because I'm just making it up.
James, I remember in Seattle, and this is the earliest version of Aladdin, which we refer to as the mattress on a stick Aladdin. Because, you know, the very glamorous illusion of the flying carpet when Casey and all of us did it in Seattle was literally a stick.
We were just trying it out. It was a pilot production, and we wanted to see what was going to happen.
Like, what would people think?
What would happen? So they had a stick, like a long pole, and a bed on it. And Aladdin and Jasmine sat on it, so the song ended up going like, unbelievable. And Casey was really cool. He had put people with lights and all kinds of sheets just dancing under him. Look, there's stuff to look at. Just don't look at the stick. Just look at all this. So, and I was like, I am so glad I am not in this scene. This is awesome.
I remember sitting backstage with you. You had an entrance to that chair thing.
Yes.
So we had this chair. We did fix this, by the way. But I remember you being very nervous.
Yes.
Before you went out in front of an audience the first time as the genie. Why?
Yeah, well, okay. So, Robin Williams is the genie. And I'm going to say this, and it doesn't matter who's playing it, me, my boy Trevor, Major, Will Smith, Robin Williams is the genie, period. So all I kept thinking was that, oh my gosh, I'm going to walk out there, and I hope they don't hate me, you know, because he's one of my idols as far as like comedy is concerned, but you guys, thank you, you and Casey allowed me to create the genie in my own way, and I was just really hoping that the audience would embrace what I did and not just go, oh my God, first of all, he's not blue, we hate you. And two, you're not funny, where the jokes that we're used to, you know, for film, because we redid it. So when I just remember being backstage, just like so freaking nervous and sitting in the chair and just, and I closed my eyes every time I would get in the chair and I would just go over my lines and then I would pray. I was like, Lord, please let me be okay, please let me be okay, please don't let them hate me. And then I came out, the sparkles happened, the fireworks happened, and then boom, and next thing I know, they were cheering and I literally was like, oh, thank God. But yeah, I was nervous. I also fell asleep in that chair. I don't know if you know that.
Getting ready to come on?
Yeah, there's a magic chair that we had. So it was a chair in the Cave of Wonders, and we were doing all-nighters. They were rewriting, we were going, so I got in a chair, and like I said, I closed my eyes, and I was going over Friend Like Me, and fell asleep. And next thing I know, fireworks happened. I'm like, boom, hi! And I started saying all my lines. I looked at Adam and said, please tell me I said everything. Please tell me I said everything. And he was like, did you fall asleep? I was like, ooh, I fell asleep. In the chair.
Has anyone else fallen asleep on stage?
I fell asleep on the Broadway company. You know that moment when the three guys are arrested and the thing comes in and I pop out? Well, again, it was right after we were in tech and we were in previews and I got in that thing and again I was going over my lines and fell asleep and they opened the door. I was like, hi! And I told my wife said, you need to get more sleep. Stop falling asleep on stage. I probably shouldn't fall asleep in the set.
Patti, have you fallen asleep on stage?
I don't really. The only time I would have is while Christoph singing the lullaby where I'm in the travois. But like I literally just like dance my butt off for like 20 minutes and like run around like a lunatic and change my clothes like 47
What
times.
are you doing in your head? This isn't Frozen. You've been this big number and now you're dying because you're freezing from the inside out. And he's going to save you. You're laying there on stage with everyone watching. What are you doing in your head?
Probably that. I don't know. Just kind of like I've actually tried before. I'm like, could I fall asleep right now? Like, am I capable of that? Because I don't have any like real lines after that. He takes me away and I don't have to get up or walk. So I was like, I wonder if I could fall asleep. And I can't. I just couldn't. I don't know.
And you make your entrance in a bed. You've never.
No, that's just too. Yeah, that's too much.
How much clothing do you have on in that scene?
To start the show, I have on 3 costumes and 2 wigs. I don't know if I'm supposed to tell you that. Yeah, I have 10 wigs and I wear multiple
You have
wigs at a
10
time.
wigs?
10. Yes. Yeah. So literally, when I go to get changed, the first scene is I sing a little bit of "Do You Want to Build a Snowman?" and like close up, like you can't really tell, but close up, I look like a high school linebacker dressed up as Anna. Because I'm like a little bit like and I'm like super flat in the front, and I'm just like, hey guys, let's go. Here's my But I only do it for a very brief period of time, and then everything starts to sort of layer off, and then more stuff goes on, and yeah.
And it's a full 10 wigs?
I think it's 8 wigs and 2 pieces, something like that. Yes.
Note to self: do not do a show where her hair turns white progressively during it. It's a thing. Merle, what was your Broadway debut?
Jesus Christ Superstar with Christian!
Woo!
Almost 20 years ago. I mean 5 years ago.
Okay, I want to do a quick lightning round. What song or character that you didn't sing or play in your Disney show do you wish you did? Do you covet and why?
Oh, Human Again, because it's what the entire show is about. It's amazing to me that it wasn't put in the movie at the first.
Well, we wrote it for the movie and then we cut
Yes.
it because we thought only children were coming.
Yeah, and it's just the be-all end-all song. And I got to sit on stage and listen to it every night, and I truly did listen to it. I never fell asleep.
Had a lot to do.
Do you know about what happened during Human Again in London, where it was slightly raked at the Dominion, and the Mrs. Potts was asleep at the wheel, and she didn't lock Chip. And while they sang Human Again, Chip rolled right off the stage and bounced on the net. And John Barrowman was stage right and jumped out and then tumbled over it into somebody in the front row dressed as the Beast. Okay, what role do you cover? What role or song?
I'm recovering from that. In Aida, I would have wanted to sing "I Know the Truth." It's so good. And in Tarzan, "Everything That I Am."
Oh.
Because Phil's heart was just in that. It was in the whole doggone thing, but that song is everything. Yeah.
I have to say, on the record, I love the song "Baby Mine." In Beauty and the Beast, that song, but I would have done it pop. And Mary Poppins, I literally sang every single one. Except I would have loved to have done all of Feed the Birds. I love that song. But I got to witness it every night.
But
So
actually, you're
Her
Beauty
Beauty
at
Birds.
15, You got to sing a song that you didn't get to sing.
That's right. Oh yeah, A Change in Me was put in, right before I got in there. I love that song. Do y'all know that song? It wasn't on the record too.
Do it for us. Do it for us right now.
On YouTube, it's like she belts it out.
Kristen, what number or moment? Because you also, because in Peter there are moments that people
I
get.
have to go to another show though because I'm obsessed with Beauty and the Beast, and it's like probably top 3 just movie of all time for me. And in college, my buddies and I used to skip class and watch it on VHS. I know it by heart, my favorite line. What was that now?
For those of us that remember what the video is, yes.
Clamshell video.
Clamshell video.
And actually, when the Broadway musical was announced and it was happening in previews, my pal Patrick Wilson and I drove up in my dad's LeBaron to see you in previews. And we loved it so much. You were so wonderful. And all I wanted to be was the Beast. I still want to be the Beast.
Revive it.
Revival!
Revival!
But I remember, like, senior year, we were doing a cabaret where, like, we were all feeling, like, finally good about ourselves after being broken down for 4 years. And we could pick whatever song we wanted to sing, and I sang the Beast song, "In My Twisted Face," or something. It's like, and like, If I Can Love Her, I love that song. Everyone was doing all these big numbers, we were rehearsing it an hour before, and I realized as I was doing it, it was just too serious. So I ended up doing Gaston, me, I think. But the whole story's great.
That story is hot.
It's just amazing.
What about you?
From the show I was in, Proud of You Boy is just like. But I also am a huge Beauty and the Beast fan, and I remember not having any money, so I never got to see it on Broadway. I would be in New York and walk past the theater and go, someday I'm gonna have money to go in there and see it. But I did have the soundtrack, and I used, and till this day, I have sung Me in more auditions than any other song there. And so, Proud of You Boy. I won't sing it, I don't sing it because of my love and my respect for my brother Adam Jacobs, because to me, no one sings it better than him. That's just me. But me, I'll sing everywhere. I love that thing. That's my turn right there.
Patti, do you have one?
I don't have a specific song. I mean, a vast majority of the songs, or at least on stage while people are singing their songs to me. But I say the role in Frozen that I covered is obviously Oaken, because that guy comes out, sings one song, and he goes right back to his dressing room, and he's done for the day. So, as someone, who I'm like, tell me Act 1, and Kevin's like, hey, what's up? What's going on, you guys? And I'm like, welcome. He's just so brilliant. But it's also, as wonderful as that is, it's also very difficult to come into a room of people that, probably think they've been introduced to everybody, and to be like, hi, I'm the new guy, and I'm gonna sing a song I hope you think is funny. So he's just no one does it like him. He's truly
Kevin is. Fortunately, Kevin's a writer who was also in Peter's character. But Kevin's a writer, so he actually writes during the whole show, and then he comes out and sings.
And he's one of the original survivors. Yes, me, Kevin, Greg Hildreth, and one of our young Annas, shockingly, Matea Conforti, who just left us a few months ago. Yeah, the four of us.
Conforti will actually grow up to play every character, including Wesselton.
Matea Conforti will come back in about 5 years and play Anna proper.
Yeah,
she will, or she'll be our boss.
We are going to take some questions from you guys, so you get to line up to these mics. And then while you're doing that, I was going to go with the speed round. What piece of advice you were given has stuck with you? Anything?
Oh, I think there's two voices inside. There's that voice that says, no, you do look fat in those pants. And that voice, just let it come in and then let it go out. And then there's the other voice that says, make that decision. Even if it doesn't make sense to anybody else, even if you can't explain why, that's where you need to go. And I've really tried to listen to that voice, and
It worked.
I'm pretty happy, so yeah.
Merle, any advice you've been given that you've been stuck with you?
Probably constantly. I don't know.
You don't have to have one.
Okay. Pass.
I'd say the best advice I've ever given was to stay true to yourself. I think no matter what business you're in, there's going to be some people who don't like it, and then some people who are going to like it. And if you're constantly wavering, trying to figure out who likes you and who doesn't, and changing who you are because of what somebody else said, you kind of get lost in the dark. And so I think just staying true to who you are and what your morals are and what you believe in.
I've always been a big proponent of other people people's successes, not your failure, because envy can just kill you. And I will just say, I know this is not popular and it will be ineffectual, but social media is the worst thing for it.
Yeah.
Social media is killing us. It's
In what way?
in the way that people feel that they can comment anonymously, and the way that you spend time looking at other people's fake lives. Those aren't people's real lives. So, anyway, that's another seminar. I'll do it on Instagram.
Well done.
Any advice you've been given that stuck with you?
Yeah, stick to your path. Stick to your path. I know it sounds, I go through this even now. I am living my dream, and I have, Christian and I were talking about this, I'm living my dream and I have famous friends. And if you spend too much time looking about what your friends are doing, you're not spending enough time building your craft and doing what you're supposed to do. You have dreams, you have things you want to write, you have places you want to be in, you have projects you want to build, but if you're too busy looking at what your boys or what your girls are doing, you're not building yourself up. You're just being a fan of theirs. Do something for yourself.
And you get asked advice all the time.
Yes, yeah. The one thing that I say to when I do, like talk to college students or people about to graduate, is that the sooner you accept that like this business, this industry, just generally this world is not fair, and you come to terms with that, the freer you will be. Because it's not about like, oh, it's my turn to get a part because she got the last two. It doesn't make any sense, but then it all makes sense. That was terrible advice. But it doesn't, along the way you get frustrated because you're like, this isn't, it's like, you don't know what you have to do, and then all of a sudden you find yourself in a place, where you're playing on it in Frozen, and you're like, oh, okay, I see, I get it now. So it's not going to be fair. So you can't think of it in terms of that, and then you're just free to sort of live your truth. Also, don't read the comments section. I learned that one.
Don't read the comment section.
Christian.
Are we pretty unified on the don't read it?
Don't read the
Yeah.
boards. I'll make this quick. When Aladdin was first starting, somebody got on Facebook and said, I know who the cast is. And I was like, and I knew I had gotten cast. And I was like, oh my God, it got leaked out. And some person had written all the people they thought were going to be in Aladdin. And the cast was completely wrong. And they were so strong. And there were like thousands of people going to it, commenting on it. And then I found out, no offense to young people, I love you all, it was some 16-year-old kid. And I had been looking at this and like feeling bad, and my wife was like, don't ever look at the boards, just do your job. Everybody's gonna have an opinion, just do your job.
The one thing also is that when you go looking at the comments section, you're gonna find exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah.
So there could be 3,000 like, she's amazing, and then one like, she has a big ugly head, and I'll be like, I think I know big ugly
I like that that's what it was. Does anyone ask any questions? Do we have anybody here who's been asked? Sir, with the OK shirt.
Okay.
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 Who are you?
My name is Jeremy Lee. First of all, thank you all for being here this evening. I have a question for everyone on the panel. So since we're celebrating 25 years of Disney theatrical, I'd love to know in the next 25 years, if not sooner, what Disney property that hasn't already become a musical would you like to see become a musical?
What made that come up? Okay, well, if I do it lightly, you just say the title, if you have one.
That's the one.
Hercules.
Pocahontas.
Snow White original orchestrations.
Goosebumps! Tangled.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Patti, do you have one?
I'm gonna go on the Tangled Hercules thing.
Thank you. What do we got over here?
Hi,
Who are you?
I'm a former SME actually from Hero Starcatcher. That's my own identity. I want to ask, what's your favorite little character moment from your show that you did, either with another actor or for your own character?
You got one?
Any moment I spent with Gary Beach was just golden. My relationship with him was like Linear and Belle. He was just the spirit and the light and everything.
You got one?
We had a great duet added between Kala and Kerchak in Tarzan, and we were, you know...
With Schumacher, yeah.
Yeah, that we were... The creative team was just so open and interested in that. And we were talking about having a moment, and Phil went away for like 30 minutes into his office and came back with this beautiful duet, and I cherished it because I watched it come to fruition. It was wonderful.
My favorite moment in Mary Poppins, I think, was Chim Chimney, because the show was so magical. Yes. And it was a time where just Mary and Bert were on the roof, and it was just such a simple moment, and who doesn't love that song?
Did I ever tell you about the time
gosh.
when I was Bert that I was in my room and Brad Hawk was in the orchestra pit conducting, and I got off the van, and one night I just went, chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chimney.
Was that arm going?
That was my Bert. As you know, Peter the Starcatcher doesn't work without a brilliant SME. And anything that Kevin DeLagula did, he was truly a genius. And the secret is that he is a genius, and he made it all work. I was just mugging. Did you love it?
I loved it so much, it like changed my life.
Me too.
I'm a big Broadway person. I love things that are big. I love things that are bright, things that are sparkly. So Aladdin was perfect for me. And when we got to the tap piece of A Friend Like Me, I was living my life. And I was able, thanks to the trust of Thomas Schumacher and Casey, I was allowed to improv during that scene, so I could look at the cast and go, here we go! All right, come on, y'all. I know we tired. It's Sunday. Let's get it. Here we go. And the cast would like love it. They were like, say something. We need something. It's Sunday. We're dying. You know? And we would just say things. It was just the most amazing, fun moment. And we were the brightest thing ever. We were in gold. I mean, we could be seen from Mars, and it was wonderful.
Probably, I mean, gosh, I love doing this show so much, and I'm lucky that, you know, I get to do it right now at this moment in time. I mean, not this moment in time, that's Aisha. I would just say probably the end of First Time in Forever, because there's a moment where all the other characters are making their entrances, Hans and Christoph and Sven, and I get to just literally go around the ensemble and just like say hi to everyone. I mean, I've probably said hi to them off stage already, but it's just like exciting as to start my show like that, to be able to like see my friends and just like as Anna to, you know, see people for the first time in forever. And see what I did there? And so it's exciting, and then, you know, you get to like literally just like walk down stage slowly with like all of your friends just like backing you up, and it's also after that song is the first time the audience gets to clap for the first 12 minutes of the show. So to hear, you know, when they're especially when they're super excited at just all the work that all the people on the stage and, you know, backstage just did, it's a really cool way to start a show.
Sweet.
Thank you.
Come on over here. Hi.
My question is specifically for Christian. Now, I know the rest of you guys on the stage, you had like this pressure of building a character, like creating a character that so many people already knew, like that were iconic, like the Genie and Belle. As Blackstash, because not a lot of people, like, it wasn't a big movie, it wasn't even a movie, it's just a book, like, did you feel the same amount of pressure to, like, create that?
No. No, there's some expectation because he will become eventually Captain Hook. So there was a little bit of folding in what we know of Captain Hook. But other than that, it was just...
Spoiler alert!
Spoiler alert.
Oh my God!
It's a Peter Pan prequel, he becomes Captain Hook.
And now you know. That's no one's after that.
No, it was incredibly liberating. It was fantastic. And that was the whole production felt like a surprise. Everyone felt liberated to do what they wanted to do and were encouraged to. Yeah, it was fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Over here.
Hi guys, I'm Quadra, I adore all of you on stage. But from Merle and James, you guys are like rubber, like black girls in black boys and brown girls and like get to see you on stage, and that's helped me personally. So how does that make you guys feel, you know, going on stage every single night, doing whatever you guys are doing, bringing all your magic on stage and knowing that you're inspiring tens and thousands of those people on stage?
Well, I grew up in Nebraska that was pretty homogenous, and I remember when I went to the International Thespian Festival, and the two main stage productions were Big River and Once on This Island. The way that it changed my life, that moment, I will never take that for granted, what representation can do for someone else. So I take that very seriously, and thank you for saying that.
No, I feel the same way. I remember seeing The Wiz when I was a young kid, and then I saw that, I was like, I want to do that. And I think what's really fun is that because I don't look like all the other brothers, it was really cool to have little brown kids come up and you say, look, you don't have to be a certain size to be able to dance or to be able to cartwheel or to be able to tap. If you can do it. So it makes me feel great, and I'm looking forward to the next generation of brown kids coming to Broadway and doing their thing. So, thank you.
We have time for one more question. That's you, sir.
Well, I
don't waste this chance.
Believe me, I won't. So I just wanted to say, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for making my childhood like so amazing and like wonderful, and helping me to like develop myself into like the person that I wanted to become in life. You guys have like really inspired me over the years, so thank you. My question to you guys, what has Disney meant to you personally throughout the years in your life? Like your own personal interpretation of it.
Lightning round.
Lightning round.
I grew up a Disney kid. My dad loved Disney World. You know, we went to Disneyland when I was 4. We drove there. We drove there from New York. Went to Disney World when I was 7. When I was 11. Went in high school. So like he knows everything. When I got Frozen, he gave me Walt Disney's biography. He was like, you should read, because he was like, this is who who you're gonna be working for, and you should know about his life and stuff. And so everything was Disney growing up, so this is like, yeah, this is pretty awesome.
Tom teases me because I'm the biggest Disney nerd. Disney was where I wanted to live. When you're a nerdy black kid and all the other brothers don't really get why you can know all the lines of Robin Hood, it doesn't, So Disney was where I wanted to be. So it has meant the world to me. I mean, it has meant the world to me to be a part of it. It's meant the world to me to be around it. I live in Disney World, he knows. I am right now wearing Snow White Coach Special Edition, Limited Edition.
All right.
You win. Disney always, to me, this is a little intellectual because I just love Disney and the songs, and I know where I was for every single movie, but it's reliably brilliant, whole storytelling. Whatever their formula is, and it's not a formula, but the people that they get to tell the stories, to break down the stories and present them to you, you always know you're in good hands.
I think Disney, for me, even as a kid, represented family. I think growing up, I would always watch the movies and have them memorized and then perform them for my family, which I'm sure they were so excited about. But also when I moved to New York, I moved away from my family. I was from a small town in Florida. I never had any inkling that this would be my life. And so being able to be a part of the Disney family, being away from home, everyone here has become my family. And just being able to go on this journey and create a role and also play iconic roles that everybody knows and love it's more than a dream come true. And so it's all about, having this family here in New York City and everywhere. That has just been the biggest gift.
Disney was my everything growing up, and the heroines just gave me so much vision and courage and inspiration. So to intersect that with something that I chose to do for a living. And then over the years, you see, I mean, we have become, like you said, become family. Tom keeps, you keep us close, and you take care of us, and we get to, we get to be together. I don't have the words, but it's been a great life journey to be part of the Disney family.
It's everything that they're saying, and I think also the best story I could say is that on the 20th anniversary of Beauty and the Beast opening, I took my daughters to see James and Aladdin, and I figured I get to be on the other side, and I got to sit in that audience, and the appreciation of the great storytelling and the characters, the three-dimensional important characters, and these stories that Disney tells better than anybody. To experience that now through my children has just brought the whole thing full circle, and I'm grateful.
That is so sweet. Thank you guys.
Also, he doesn't like this, and I'll probably get killed for a little bit. Thank Thomas Schumacher, because we're all really good at that.